Hello, I am roaringbug, and welcome to my Sims 4 speed build. Today I am making a base game library, and I am building it in Strangerville. Because I did not like the library in Strangerville, and I decided to build my own in order to replace it. And I thought it was very timely because we recently got in The Sims a new kit called the Book Nook kit. So if you want to replace the items in this library with the items in that new kit, you can go right ahead and do that. So what you're seeing, what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to make a glass dome on this building. And I tried really hard in order to make this work, but it's all for naught because I don't even keep this dome as a glass dome. It becomes like a normal dome. But I was trying really hard in order to make it work, so I just went through different phases trying to make this work. Ideally, what I would have loved to have done is create an oculate in this dome. And an oculate is basically like a skylight in the center of a dome. And the first time I saw an oculate, I was in Rome and I saw one at the Parthenon, and it looked beautiful, but unfortunately I don't think I can do that in The Sims. I don't think you can double up domes in The Sims, so ideally I would have loved to have done that, but I ended up just making that second floor into just an opening. And I put these spandrels on the front so I could put these pillars in the front of the building in order to give it that neo-Greek classical look that most government buildings have, in order to make it look grand and fancy. So I am moving the build just a little bit so I can get more space for the back. And in order to make it different from the front, instead of having the entranceway stick out, I actually had it recessed in. And I'm putting more of these pillars. So for the roofing, I just put a plain like tin roofing, and I thought about putting like white cinder blocks as the material for the outside wallpaper, but I changed it to just plain white brick. And I put this clock in the front of the building, and I put a matching one in the back, and it was giving me Back to the Future vibes, which I thought was pretty nice. And frankly, if I had a debug DeLorean in the game, I would have probably raised it up and made it look like it was flying in the air, like Back to the Future. And right now I'm just putting down a bunch of windows on the build because if you're reading, it's great to have really good lighting, so I have these really big windows all around the build. And I wanted to make that trim on all sides, so I just put down a wall in order to put the spandrels down. And now you're seeing me try to move the build again, because I was trying to make it line up with the path in the world. But the path is not centered on the lot. It's off-centered, and it was driving me crazy. And I put these sized up dogs as lions in the front of it's not a house, in front of this library, in order to make it look like an official library with like lines on it. And I used this debug pole in order to put a topper on the building. And I put these regular base game doors. And I lined the entire building with these stones in order to like section off the build. Because this build is mainly about the library. It's not really about any kind of like park or any kind of landscaping. So I kept the landscaping really controlled and very minimal. So I just used a fence in order to section off these planters. So first I put down this bush, and then I layered it with these round bushes. I just thought it looked too flat, so I thought the round bushes would help make it look more natural and less like a cube, because the first bush I put down looked way too perfect. And I decided to put some more planters on the back of the build, except this time I put these bushes in like these taller hedge bushes in order to make it a little bit more interesting. And for the second floor, this tower, I just used a fence in order to make it look like there's beams in order to hang the chandeliers off of them. So this little area, as you can tell from the flooring, is going to be like a kid section. And this section here is just going to be 2 bathrooms. And now I'm just doing some decorations and putting down some tables. And I'm furnishing these 2 bathrooms. So if you have like the Growing Together pack, you can add a changing table for infants. But since this is base game, I just put toddler potties in case you bring toddlers to this lot. I never have an occasion to bring the toddlers anywhere, so I don't know. Like, I feel like the only time you'll probably visit this lot is if you have a child or you're trying to build skills. Frankly, I don't have my sim visit libraries for any other reason. And I use these really cute little bear chairs, and I use them for my regular house gameplay. And now I'm just decorating the walls with these posters, because I assume like it's a kid room, you'd have like fun posters in there. And I put like an event planner. For story reasons, I feel like it would be cute in order to have like a book reading schedule. I don't know. So now I'm putting down these chairs, and then I realize there are too many. So I deleted one of the tables, and I'm lining this table with computers. And then I realized I couldn't double up the computers on one table. So I just put 2 tables back to back in order to make that into the computer section of the library. And now I'm putting down the stacks. So I'm just putting a row of books. And now I'm putting down some empty tables so that your Sims can actually sit down and read when they grab a book. So for the middle of this build, I wanted to make an information desk. It's just for show, it's not an actual information desk. And I just moved around the items in order to try and see if I can fit it in. So I made like this donut-shaped information desk area. And then I realized, how are they going to get in there? So, I mean, they don't really have a point to go in there because it's just purely for decorative reasons. So I put a fence. And at first I tried putting down this new kid fence that is in base game that we got from Growing Together. But it looked too juvenile, so I put down this iron fence, and I put these poles everywhere, and I tried to dress this area up like what would be in an information desk, and I put down all these curtains. And then I was like, oh, it's kind of dark in here, so I added more lighting by adding more chandeliers. So I just put some chandeliers all over the place, and I put some artwork on the walls. And this is when I decided to open up this kid section. So I put these glass windows, and I put a glass door, and I had to move that event planner. And I decided that this pillar business around the information desk was way too much, so I got rid of it. And now I am putting down some outdoor lighting. and trash cans. And what you see on the left is my list of items that you get when you're trying to build a community lot. So it's just a lot requirements. And it said I needed 3 desks, but the desk only fits 1 chair. So I just use them as decorative pieces, as like desk on the sides. And I put like a kid building, skill building items there inside the library for gameplay. And I decided this library needed a library sign. So I was trying to figure out where to put it. So I ended up putting it on the right side, on either side of the build. And I wanted to put this wall detail, this spandrel, and I was having such a hard time putting it on the build. If you can't get it just right, I recommend just holding the shift key. And these are the windows that I settled on for the 2nd floor. It's like the 3rd window I chose, but yeah, I think this is like the last window I decided on. So for the back of the build, I noticed that the 2nd pillar touching the wall is getting cut off by that roof trim. So I decided to extend the platform of the roof in order to move the pillars out by 1 tile. So I'm just moving the tiles over so that you can't see like that roof, that pillar just not in place. So I just moved it out for the detail. And I moved the stairs out by 1 because I moved like the trim out by 1. So yes, this is the end of my build. So now I'm into my screenshots. So if you like this build, it's base game, and please like, subscribe, or leave me a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye.